Are live?
Are
Question mark.
we live? Question mark? Yeah, I guess we are live. Yeah.
We
Yeah,
are.
we're
We are.
live.
We're, hello. This is the Blockade Blockade at Home Show 2019.
Oh,
That's
2019.
it's my formal introduction for the new year. How's it going,
Ah,
Robin?
it's going good, man. 2019's here. I think we're all ready for some Star Wars, some Marvel, everything happening.
We got a lot of things in
Oh,
2019.
so much stuff. So much stuff. It's quite crazy when you think about it, how much stuff. I mean, Sean, more recently I was just kind of looking at like the movie rundown for 2019 between
Uh-huh.
Star Wars and Toy Story comes out this year. We're going back into our childhood with Toy
Yeah,
Story.
there's a lot of things going back in our childhood, and
Yeah.
starting with in March we got Dumbo.
Oh, that's right. We got Dumbo coming out. Yeah.
That was my childhood. That was one of my favorite movies going back. And now, of course, looking for now I'm older, I can understand of the kind of the I won't get into it, but a lot of the controversies of that movie.
Yeah.
I won't go into it, but
Right.
it was one of my favorite movies growing up.
Yeah. All these Disney classics between Mary Poppins and now
I saw that, by the way.
Dumbo. How did you like it? I have not seen it yet.
I I really enjoyed it. I mean, Emily Blunt was a great Mary Poppins,
Uh-huh.
and I like how she was not trying to be Julie Andrews
Oh, true.
because she was trying to be Mary Poppins, and that's what I loved about it. I mean, the music's fantastic. Uh, I've been listening a lot recently, especially the song called "Can You Imagine That?" Great
Is that the
song.
one that Lynn put together?
I don't know, but Lynn was really good. I loved Lynn in that,
Was he
and
good? Was he good?
oh, he was fantastic. And then you got Dick Van Dyke coming back,
I was
which
just
is
about to ask you, how was his
yeah.
appearance in it?
I won't spoil too much, but
Right, right.
he was in there a little bit,
Oh, that's
and
good.
he was great in that. It was a good little throwback tease going
Oh, that's
for the
awesome.
old back Mary Poppins. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed it for what it was.
So kind of looking back, I guess, Sean, at 2018, that was both here at Brick City and everything that we were doing, just in our lives overall, whether it's film, whether it's whatever else. Sean, what are you most fond of looking back at 2018?
Ooh, most fond.
Mm. Not fawns like the fawns, but most fond of. See, I almost said fawns.
Fond. Um, probably. For me, I think it's probably just hanging out with a lot of my friends and
Yeah,
trying to get more of the crew getting back together and all that,
yeah,
and spending a lot of time with family and all that.
yep, yep. I can agree with that. Absolutely. Was there one particular moment for you that kind of stood out in 2018? A movie you saw or something you did?
Probably us going down to Lancaster
Oh
and
yeah.
doing the charity thing, and then going. Probably the most fun day I had was going to Philly. I think,
Oh,
even though it was
yeah.
really hot, that was such a great time.
Oh man, bucket list item right there. Actually, that was going to be mine in 2018. Was going to Lancaster, even though I was feeling like absolute crap, and I was on medication for my asthma attacks.
Yeah, you did really well that trip too,
I
especially
mean,
during that weather.
oh my goodness, 109 plus degree temperatures. We were walking around Philly, but we got to do the staircases at the Philadelphia Art Museum
Yeah,
to
and
go to the
then
Rocky statue.
the Rocky statue was pretty cool. Just walking around
Going to Independence
downtown.
Hall.
I mean, I wish we walked a little more outside, but it was way too hot to do that.
It was hard, man. I mean, it was so hot, and I mean, yeah, it was really cool with the Rocky statue and everything. I think being able to pose with Brick City shirt there, and then go back to Lancaster after. I mean, Philly is such a really cool city, and I'm really looking forward to getting back to there at some point. I mean, definitely in 2019 for sure. Getting back to
Yeah,
Philly.
and it was funny that we almost went to Detroit that day too. But it was like
Detroit?
let's do Philly
We didn't go
instead.
to Detroit. We almost went to Baltimore.
I mean Baltimore. Sorry, not Detroit. I
Wait,
meant
we also played
Baltimore.
Griffin?
No, I've been thinking Detroit because my
Yeah.
sister
Oh, that's
and her
right.
boyfriend went up to Michigan. That's why I was thinking Detroit.
Let's go to Detroit next time.
I mean, that'd be fun to go to Detroit though.
That's true. That's true. That's It's a really interesting point. Yeah, I have to say, same thing as you. Going to Philadelphia, going to Lancaster, doing the work with Rebel Cause down there. Even doing Xmas at Brewskins this year was absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic. Going down there, hanging out with the guys this time around. And I think one of the other things is that we as a podcast network grew so much in 2018. I mean, you and I,
Yeah.
Sean, at the end of 2017, what did we say? That 2018 was going to be
It's going to be all year. And it was all year. And I think I'm going to say it again for 2019. It's going to be our year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we have so much great stuff.
Probably more until after Celebration. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, Celebration Lancaster is kind of like the kickoff to what the rest of our year is going to be like, which means just absolute fandemonium. Chaos.
Just chaos, yeah.
I mean, Sean, I recently put up on the website that we're going to be at Rhode Island Comic-Con again this year. We are going to Fan Expo Boston, which I'm super excited about. So people get to see us yet again at some of the most major conventions.
Yeah, and this year, hopefully, I will be going down to these ones. I know I missed a couple last year.
Yeah, you went out to the West Coast on one of those times. You were traveling.
I did not go. I did not go to the West Coast last year.
Then? Where did you go then?
I was working a lot, but
you were working, but you did travel with your family a little bit last year on some of those days.
Oh, we went to Nantucket last year.
Nantucket, you did go south, but not too far south.
Not too much south. No, I didn't. That was 2017. I went to the West Coast.
It was 2017 that you did. Okay, all right.
But I'm hoping for this year. I hope we do a West Coast trip.
Oh, I think it's got to happen.
I already got connections.
You do.
Where we can. We don't need a hotel.
No.
I don't need a hotel, but
I'll get myself a hotel. You can rest in the comforts of the Michaud family or whatever else, and I'll.
No, I mean, if we go down there, I'm gonna take you around Manhattan.
I would love to go around Manhattan Beach, man.
It's become a more tourist area.
Has it really?
Over the past few years, yeah. That's what my family have been saying. Is like over the years, it's been more of a tourist area, which is kind of cool. But I don't think it's really a tourist area, but maybe just because I go there a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have more of a connection to the West Coast than many of us. You know what I mean? I mean, it's deep within your family that you go out there and you hang out, and you always send me pictures too, and I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
But no more of that. 2000 we'll be out on
2019 In and Out. It's coming. Let's go.
That's right. We got to do In and Out, man. We got to do it. You tell me all the time. It's like, buddy, you haven't had In and Out before. And I got to
yeah. It's like 5 times better than Five Guys.
5 times better than Five Guys. That means it's 5 times 5 is 25. That means it's 25 times better than Five Guys.
Yes. I'm just exaggerating, but
I like it. I like it, though. The other thing, too, Sean, is that Star Wars was extremely quiet in 2018. I have to say.
It was.
But Solo was the big thing in the summertime. We got it.
Well, here's my question.
Yeah.
What was your best Star Wars moment of last year?
Great question, because I think it is Solo. I really do. I think being there opening night, everybody, we were all in the seats together for Solo.
Yeah.
And that was such a great. We went in our flip-flops. We went in our flip-flops to see Solo. And that was the one thing I always wanted to
do. Revenge of the Sith, didn't you do that?
What was that?
Revenge of the Sith. Summer. Were you in flip-flops? I was in flip-flops when I went to see Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
Flip-flops is not just spring. It's summer, too.
See, it doesn't matter. I guess you're right. I did see Revenge of the Sith in flip-flops. You're correct. I wore shorts with a Star Wars t-shirt and in flip-flops when I was a kid. Yeah, that's true. Good point. Thank you for correcting me.
I'm just messing. Anyways, but yeah.
Who else wear flip-flops? Tell us now.
Anyone?
People on the West Coast were wearing flip-flops to go see Solo.
Probably, most likely.
You know, if we ever do a Star Wars premiere in Los Angeles, you and I need
Oh,
to
that'd be
wear
so
like,
much fun.
oh,
Just
we
go to
need
the
to wear
Hollywood
like,
premiere.
just, you know what we got to do? We got to wear Brick City Blockade shirts with like a tuxedo
Hmm.
jacket on, freaking board shorts like what you wear when you go surfing, and then a pair of flip flops,
Oh yeah.
and just rock that
How much?
to a premiere.
How much would people mock us for doing that though?
What's that?
Even though it'd be so funny how people would mock us for doing
Oh,
that
absolutely.
on the West Coast, which is hilarious.
Because we're East Coast boys.
It's like, no, no, no. I'm from the West Coast. Robin's not with me. Mock him. I know what I'm doing.
Section just shoved me over to him.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that would have to happen. It would have to. It would just have to. But yeah, I think going into 2019, let's talk about this now because we have,
Okay.
like we said, all these great plans. Celebration Lancaster. I'm going to tell you, there's some Brick City stuff in the works that I'm going to talk to Sean about after I hit the stop broadcast button that we've been working on that I can't announce just yet, other than the Comic-Con appearances.
Yeah.
But there's some really, really cool stuff in the works. And I think the one thing that I'm looking forward to is doing the conventions again. I think last year we took a break from doing conventions in 2017. We didn't do much. We did a lot of the local library conventions like Nashua.
Yeah.
And we did the big on Connecticut.
Portland again.
We did Portland. I absolutely love Portland. Big shout out to Casablanca Comics. They put on such a great show at the Fan Expo. Saw a lot of our friends there. So we'll be doing Fan Expo, Comic Expo, Portland Comic Expo again this year. But the one thing that I'm super excited about is to do the big conventions again and to really get into Rhode Island Comic Con, Fan Expo Boston, and just really get in depth and go see the celebrities and have conversations, go to the panels and bring you guys the coverage because you can't always be there, and bring that next level to this podcast network.
I think I'm going to agree with you. That's what I'm waiting for 2019. All the podcasts and all that.
Oh, I know. It's super exciting.
And the conventions and all that. But I did not get to my favorite Star Wars moment in 2018.
No. Share
I will mention that. And for me, I don't believe for me it was Solo. Okay. I wish it was.
Uh-huh.
For me, I think it's the finale Rebels.
Wow, good choice.
Because for me,
yes.
Because you know how I started out really late for Rebels.
Yeah, you had to get
and I didn't get into it. And that was in 2017 I started watching.
That's right.
But and in 2018 it was 2016 I started.
16,
I don't remember
16.
when.
Yep.
2016, 17 I started watching Rebels.
Yep.
But just the whole ending of the show was such a great tie-in, and maybe for stuff for future stuff to come of Star Wars. We don't know yet, but
right.
I'm not going to do any spoilers yet. I'm not going to talk about any of the spoilers because I don't know if everyone's seen the finale yet. So
no, it does.
That was for me. Rebels was my favorite Star Wars moment, I think.
Let me say this without spoilers, Sean. Was it one specific character that appeared that really made it for you?
For the season finale or
yes, for the season finale. That last 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, of course it was.
I think we're on the same level. Chris Lenny knows what we're talking about too.
No, yeah, I totally. I can't say anything.
I know it's so hard not to say anything because I know that there are people out there who haven't seen it just yet or are just getting caught up on stuff. There's a lot of people out there. I can't even tell you how many people I've talked to more recently that said, "Oh, you know what? I didn't hop on the Star Wars Rebels wagon right away, so now I'm getting all caught up." And I'm like, I want to tell you everything, but I can't because now you're watching it.
Right.
There's just so many great moments in Star Wars. I'm going to say this. Star Wars Rebels is one of the best things to come from Star Wars since Clone Wars. easily.
And this is my next question. I was gonna go straight into.
Yeah, yeah.
What are you most looking for Star Wars 2019
Oh
of
man.
content of Star Wars?
All right, you go first. Since you got us
And
all hyped up, you go first.
for me, it's got to be the final season of Clone Wars.
Oh
I just
yes.
want. I don't care. I'm not really interested in episode 9 right now. Don't really care about any of the books or anything,
Uh-huh.
and any of the games. I'm just my mind's all on right now is Clone Wars and just wanting to see how it ends properly.
Mm-hmm. What Filoni wanted to do with Clone Wars that he wasn't able to
Yeah,
do when Disney came and said, nope, we're moving on from that. And now Disney's giving him the control again.
there
Yeah.
was still a bunch of unanswered questions during the last season, even though
Yeah.
some of the episodes went up on Netflix for the
Mm-hmm,
final
mm-hmm.
season. Not not the final season, but the final season,
For
if
the
you catch
finals.
my drift. But
Yes. Yep, I totally. I think that there's so much more development that Filoni has with it, and the big thing, Sean, and I'm glad you bring up Clone Wars in this case, is because we still haven't led ourselves up to the beginning of Revenge of the Sith yet, because we know what happens in Revenge of the Sith, but we didn't see anything really truly dark side Anakin yet, and I think Filoni wanted to do that. I think he wanted to show us more of that.
And the one thing that I really want them to explore more is Barriss Sophie's character, and
Yes.
because before
Yes.
I was reading off, because Dave Filoni was gonna essentially kill her off or
Uh-huh.
kill herself in the prison, but
Right.
he completely killed off the idea. Haha, pun joke. Haha. But that was terrible.
That was pretty bad, but I'll let it fly.
I had to, but anyways,
yeah, you're right.
but
You're right though. She lives through that section.
I mean, I want to know how evil she is. When we only got her like a couple episodes of her, of course, betraying Ahsoka and all that.
Yeah.
Spoiler: if you haven't seen the Clone Wars at all, you probably all should have by now.
Yes, you should have definitely gotten caught up at this point. Yeah. And what did Nalini tell us? What did Nalini tell us at White Mountain? I think it was James or you.
She does not know.
Yeah, she didn't know about it.
No, I mean all she knows is her character her character in the episode 2 of the Attack of Clones, and she didn't get much detail in the Clone Wars, but of course it's a different actress.
Yeah.
Right.
And
then, I don't know. We'll see.
No, I think it was you and James that said something to her, and you said how she turns dark side essentially, and she's convinced that the dark side is her pathway because the path of the Jedi is wrong. And I remember her face when you and James told me that. She was so into it. She was like, "Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? I love that idea."
Yeah, I was just about to say that, saying I loved her expression, saying the idea of her becoming evil is different.
Yeah, and she's a huge Darth Vader fan, and she loved the idea that her character became very dark side.
How interesting would it be to see Barriss and Anakin work together?
Oh, like I don't think we XXIX.
Yeah, I don't remember their relationship in the Clone Wars, which now I'm gonna probably go before Clone Wars comes back. I'm gonna watch some of the Barriss episodes and see her interaction with Anakin. See if Anakin picks up with anything.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I mean, there could be some kind of development there that Filoni wants to build up from, and it'd be a great. We expect Obi-Wan, we expect Anakin. We now see we're gonna see Ahsoka in there with the clones, but is Barriss like that X factor? Is she that X factor in there? That's the tie between the Jedi and the Sith or the dark side that kind of pulls at Anakin in a way. I'm curious. You're right.
Yeah, and of course I want to see Luminaire's reaction. We didn't see much of her reaction. I mean, we got a little taste of her reation when she found out when Barriss was betraying the Jedi and all of that. And
she was
it was it was short minute clip at the
Yeah,
end
not
of
enough. Not
just
enough.
not enough of Luminara and Barris' relationship, but because it was, of course, played more of a Barris Ahsoka relationship of how the friendship turns drastically changes during that moment.
Yeah, that's such a, and that's one of those other things too. I know 2019, and the moment that I'm looking forward to the most in 2019, not only is Clone Wars,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm looking forward to what the Mandalorian is going to bring us, because it was recently reported that the Mandalorian is going
Yeah,
to
that
drop
that would
into
have
a
been
show.
my second choice.
Yeah. There's so many different possibilities, and now that Favreau is bringing in IG-88, we're going to see a lot of connection to some of the aspects of Star Wars that we've been missing for quite some time. And if it's the IG-88, like in Shadows of the Empire, like from the N64, where
Mm-hmm.
Dash Rendar and you had to try to defeat IG-88, that's what I want. I want that, classic N64 kind of feel. Bounty hunter, like scrounging the universe for every opportunity to try to make their way in the Star Wars universe. That's exactly what I want from this. And it's funny, you bring up now Luminara and Barra Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Star Wars step out of the box in 2019. I want to see, and I personally, with the canon books and comics, it's been really tough. I've been keeping up, but there's just so much out there that it's so hard to follow. I want Star Wars, if they're going to do some of this stuff with like Age of the Republic and stuff, please give us a Luminara
For the
Barra
yeah,
Sophie
for the
book.
comics that
No,
just came out.
I want a novel. I want E.K. Johnson to write a Barra Sophie and Luminara a novel.
Yes, yes,
EK, if you're
that's what I
listening right
want.
now, I want go to Del Rey and go to Lucasfilm, because I think you could perfectly take on both of those characters, show them from a young upbringing how they became friends and how that transitioned into Order
I
66.
think those two are just going back to those two. I think
Yeah,
those two are one of the best. Oh, one of my favorite Padawan Jedi
has
relationships,
to be, has to be.
and it wasn't explored enough.
It's
And
true.
I mean, like most of them, other Padawan Jedi Master relationships been explored as a lot, but not as much as Barriss and Luminara.
Yeah,
We've only got a couple episodes in it in Clone Wars, and that's just probably it.
that's true. That really is all we got from that. And I feel like there is, with how we've been running with the prequels lately, between Clone Wars coming back, we have a Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan book coming out. Wouldn't it make sense to do that? I mean, in all honesty.
Speaking of the prequels,
Yes.
I mean, they've been releasing the comic books by Marvel, Age of the Republic.
Yes, that was what I was mentioning. Yeah.
And I think I like their direction, they're taking. And I picked those two comics up, and I kind of enjoyed it. It was kind of like a one issue character thing, and I hope they do more of it. Like I know I mean, do we see a Qui-Gon after that?
Yes.
Or do we see something from more of General Grievous, or do something of, I don't know, Alera Garcia or something like that? Like,
yeah, really
going back to that era of the prequels.
Mm-hmm. Now, Sean, picking up that Age of Republic comic like I did too, those one-off series, it brought me back to being in the theater for episode 1 and episode 2.
Which one, the Darth Maul or the Obi-Wan one?
The Obi-Wan one.
I enjoyed the Obi-Wan. I picked up the Darth Maul, see if they did anything as much changing.
Yeah,
but
it just adds more to Darth Maul. That's all it really does in terms of.
I mean, it's like cool, more Darth Maul stuff.
Yeah, it's really what it is.
Funny thing, when I was picking that up, I was like, wait, I hope Kira makes an appearance at all. That's what I was hoping.
Right, you kind of like.
I was like, please. Oh, I was like, please. Oh, it's just prequel Maul.
Yeah, but it's the same old.
Yeah, like you said, about the Obi-Wan comic. Like you said, how it felt like you were watching episode 2, kind of, or more episode 1 actually.
Brought you back.
It was more of a between of episode 1 to 2.
Yeah, it was that gap between episode 1 and 2 when we were kids, and we were like, what is going to happen next? What is going to happen next for these characters? And boy, did it take me back to my childhood, man. I mean, you
Yeah,
and I grew up prequelists. We were, and we still
yeah.
are. We love the prequels because that was our Star Wars at the time. And
It's funny how the prequels become the most memes too.
oh, I know. Prequels were hated for so long, and I say things about Jar Jar Binks, but when I think back to it, and now with Ahmad Best coming out, there's so much fantastic stuff out there that the prequels gave us, and I appreciate it even more now than I did then.
I mean, do we see a Jar Jar comic book coming out
Oh, that'd
for
be
the next
great.
thing, or
I want to see
like
him as a senator.
I feel like they're gonna do that, or I think the next one, I believe they're
Mhm.
gonna do something with Padme
Oh, that'd be
since
great.
Queen Shadows is coming out, which I'm so
Yeah.
excited for is coming out.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
Well, it comes out at the end of the month, so
Mm-hmm.
whenever it comes out, I'm going to Barnes and Noble and picking it up.
Yep, they're gonna have that Barnes and Noble exclusive edition with like a Padme poster in it. I'm gonna rip that poster out, put it right up on my wall because it's perfect.
Right?
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what it explores. It may talk about her having to give up powers to Jar Jar when she had to leave. Remember when she had to leave Coruscant because she was being attacked? It may talk a little bit. We could say it's not out of the picture that some of the interlude parts in that book, some of the prologues, could be about Jar Jar and what he was doing in the Senate.
Right.
Which I don't know, but
I don't know.
there's so much great content coming out in terms. And it's funny. I don't see a lot of novels like the new Thrawn novel. I'm not super excited about. I think we fleshed out Thrawn just enough by now.
Yeah, I think we need to step back from Thrawn and get some not new characters, but more characters discovered.
Can we get a young Harrison Dula comic?
Yeah, or more Sabine or
Yes.
something from Rebels, like more Ezra or something like that.
Yeah, a little bit more Ezra.
Like more of a little. I say I can't. I'm not gonna say anything. I almost spoiled something, but for Rebels, but
you were so close to spoiling.
Yeah, I stopped myself.
Good move. Good.
Kill him.
Kill him. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that we maybe need a Zeb comic. Talk a little bit more about Zeb Aurelius there. Even an Agent Callus. I want to know how he got into the Imperial Academy, became so powerful, and then switched.
Know who I want a comic or a because I'm looking right now. I'm looking at this book called Woman of the Galaxy I got for Christmas.
Oh, isn't that such Amy Raycliffe had on, and she is just amazing.
Yeah. And it has such great female characters in it, and I think one I'm looking at right now that I would love to read more of about Steela.
Oh, good point.
Going back to the Clone Wars era. I mean,
wow. Yes.
Because we know she had a relationship with young Saw Gerrera back in the day.
Yep. Yeah. And then later on, didn't she even have a connection to Han in a way, too? I think she had a connection to Han going on into the future.
I don't know. I thought didn't she die or something?
Right. I think she showed up in the Lando and Han comic though.
Oh, right, maybe.
Yeah, I think there was a connection.
I wish they kept going with the Lando comic, the new one.
Oh, I know.
I know it was a mini series, but it was not enough.
It really wasn't.
But I think the reason why they didn't want to spoil too much maybe because episode 9 will probably go through Lando's backstory a little bit.
Yeah, they'll probably talk a little bit about.
Don't want to spoil too much of his backstory. Let maybe episode 9 do that for a few scenes or whatever.
That's a good point. They have to be very careful because of Billy D coming back to play Lando in episode 9. Maybe they'll wait till after episode 9 to give us some more stuff about what he was. Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, you're right. They're going to wait until after they flush out Lando in episode 9 and build some of that character and then answer the questions. And then after episode 9,
maybe like a 2020 Lando book or whatever that would come out.
Yeah.
I
Can
mean,
we
that would
age
be pretty
Donald Glover
cool.
a little bit? Can we age him up a little bit and then just have him play in a Lando movie?
Maybe if we wait 5 years or so.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean,
Why not?
Lando. Well, what? How old is
Donald Glover's what,
Donald? He's no,
28?
he's 30. He's
Is he
30,
really
right?
in his 30s?
I think
Is
he's
he
in his 30s.
really? Oh boy, fans out there,
Well,
tell us if we're wrong. That
well,
surprises me.
he doesn't age. So does Rami Malek
No,
doesn't
that's true.
age.
Rami Malek does not age whatsoever. Let me see. Let's see how old Donald Glover is.
I thought he was in his. I thought he was in I thought he was like 31 or 33.
Oh, let's see.
I know Rami Malek's 35. He does not
Right.
look like he's 35.
No, he does not. He does not. The dude still looks like he's like. Oh, dude, Donald Glover is 35. Are you kidding
Ooh,
me?
he's 30. Well, I would say he was right.
Yeah, you would only have to wait another 10 years.
Have you seen him in Community? How young he looks, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking about in the music video for "This Is America." I was like, "Whoa, this dude's like my age."
Yeah,
No,
in that video, he looks like he's in his, late 20s.
yeah, that's what I'm going off of is from that video, and then I'm even thinking about Redbone. Like even in Redbone, he looks pretty young.
He looks pretty young in Atlanta as well.
He does. I think because he is playing a younger role.
That and probably lots of makeup and all that.
Yeah, so that's all you'd have to do is age Donald Glover. Give him another 10 years, especially if they're not going to do anything with the episodic films for another 3 to 4 years. And
only
then do a Lando film.
Only if he wants to. And I feel like he would.
I totally think he would. Imagine if you could integrate like hip hop in the galaxy with that. Oh, man. I'd be down. Sign me up.
Can we just have a Cantina song with hip hop by Lando? Or not even hip hop, more like an RB song.
I think
kind of like Redbone.
Just do a Star Wars just a Star Wars music album.
Kind of like what the Spider-Man got their own Into the Spider-Verse. Great film, by the way.
I loved it, man. I absolutely loved Into the Spider-Verse. I'm so glad.
Why do we talk about? Why do we just start talking about 2018, our favorites and all that? Since we're going a little off topic a little bit now.
That's good. That's good. So for 2018, Into the Spider-Verse, I will agree with you.
I mean, what was your top 5 favorite films of last year?
Oh wow, top 5 favorites. Okay, so
in no particular order.
Okay, all right. Boy, oh boy.
Or top 5 films that were released in 2018, not when you watched it in 2018.
Okay. Let's go with. So I'll start with. I'm just gonna list them because I can't even think about numbering them right now.
That's why I said in no particular order.
Okay.
If you listen, you would know.
Sorry, I was still amazed by Donald Glover's age.
Right.
Listen, Bohemian Rhapsody's on there for sure. I'll go Into the Spider-Verse.
I won't say anything after because I'll name mine after.
Wow. I'm trying to even think about what other ones. Definitely Infinity War. Solo. That's 4. And let's go with. Oh man. Wow. It's always that 5th one, man. That 5th one is always the toughest to work with.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ooh, interesting choice.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that movie got released last year.
Yeah.
As I was just listening.
Yeah. So Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Solo, Into the Spider-Verse, and Bohemian Rhapsody are my 5.
Okay. For me, and I think, for me personally, I think Bohemian Rhapsody, I finally watched it. What a great film. It's one of my favorite films of 2018.
It's one of my favorite films in the last 5 years.
Rami Malek.
Killed it. He did wonderful.
What was the other movies? Infinity War, I think that's going to be an obvious choice for me.
Right. It just does much, yeah.
Isle of Dogs
Oh, good choice. That was a really great
by
film.
Wes Anderson. Just recently watched it.
Oh,
I
great.
believe that got released in 2018, right?
Yeah, Isle of Dogs was
I don't know. I
2000.
finally came on HBO. I was like, I'll watch it. It was a great film.
That's weird. Yeah,
I love it's
yeah.
stop animation motion, just like Mr. Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, Fantastic Mr.
Sorry.
Fox. That was 2007.
Yeah, whatever it's called. What?
Fantastic Mr. Fox was 2017, and then he comes out and does Isle of Dogs in 2018.
No, that movie came out a while ago.
Did it really? It just feels like yesterday that film came out.
I know. I think it came out like 2012 or 2013.
Really?
Like
wow.
I think, yeah.
Time flies when you're starting to get old.
Yep.
My goodness gracious. Yeah, what other ones?
Yeah. Once what do I have? I have Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yep.
Isle of Dogs, Infinity War, Into the Spider-Verse has got to be one of my favorite animated movies.
Yep.
And for me, it's a little while. I finally watched The Favorite. It was actually really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was interesting. It was a little confusing at first. It's a little confusing. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm gonna say. But I mean, if you understand it, I think if I understood it, it would be better than Bohemian Rhapsody. But it wasn't.
Right.
And I just love Emma Stone anyway. So
the one that I did not get to see that I think would have made my top list, Sean, and Willem Dafoe was in it, and it was up for a lot of awards, was At Eternity's Gate, the story of Vincent.
I have not seen
Vincent. That was another one too that I saw.
No, that came out 2017.
I know, and it was weird.
I saw that last year though, so
it came out because it hit the awards in early 2018. It was weird the way that
it got robbed by Coco, but don't get me wrong, I loved Coco. Coco is a great movie.
It is. At Eternity's Gate was a film that I did not get a chance to see, and I'm looking forward to if it hits Netflix or Hulu or whatever else because I want to see it. Willem Dafoe looks just like Vincent Van Gogh. It's amazing.
Yeah, I saw the trailer the other couple weeks ago, and it looked really great.
And Oscar Isaac plays his brother in it.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird. I did not put Solo on there. It was not my favorite film.
I can understand. There was a lot of great indie films this past year. A lot of Oscar buzz stuff.
And I was gonna say Black Panther, but that's kind of down in my top 10.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, it was a great film, but
how about Deadpool?
Oh, Deadpool, yeah. There's always great movies. But Bohemian Rhapsody is probably the best film of the year for me personally.
Yeah, I agree. Bohemian Rhapsody did a lot of cool things, especially for us music people.
The Live Aid.
Oh, what I almost thought I was watching the Live Aid with Freddie Mercury.
So did I. I had to after watching it, I had to watch the Live Aid on YouTube. Yeah,
and it's so accurate.
Yeah,
it's scary. It's very, very scary, and
it's funny. After watching Bohemian Rhapsody, I was not a big Queen fan, but it's funny because I'm beginning loving Queen a little bit more just because of that film.
Good. Yeah, it really is. It's what this generation needed. They really needed an idea for, and I'm not saying because you and I are exposed to music all the time, and a lot of the people at the network here are just diehard music fans, and I think what it did for this generation is it exposed them to music that you and I listen to all the time, classic rock.
And plus, they're growing up with the Star Is Born, which is not classic music.
Right.
And I heard great things about it. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't make an opinion on it.
True. That's another film I want to see because of Lady Gaga being in it.
I'm a huge Lady Gaga fan. So
I know you really, and I think you like Lady Gaga, but you just haven't seen her act yet, and I think that's going to boost it even more for you, probably. Yeah.
I've seen her, and I see that's why I haven't seen her in American Horror Story, but I heard she's great in that.
Yes, heard a lot of great things about that one. Heard a lot of great things about that one. Sean, do we want to get into some fan questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so Just I have all the fan questions. Thank you to Christopher Ball and Dave Hackerson for sending in some fantastic questions.
Sorry, Hulu just reminded me the Nets are playing Celtics tonight.
Oh, that's right. Brooklyn's playing Boston tonight, man. And then you got the national championship on. So you got your Celtics and you got your Bama on there tonight.
Oh, they're playing. I gotta watch that. I totally forgot. I was watching them last week.
That's right. Yeah, Bama Clemson.
Go Bama.
I know you're a big Bama guy. I got Clemson tonight, but that's just me because anyway.
Anyways, yeah,
probably gonna beat my Nets anyway, so I'll just watch that. So Christopher Ball sent this question. Big shout out to Christopher, local guy. He's going to be on an episode of the Make the Jump podcast with myself coming up. We're going to find out a little bit more about him, and the Blockade listeners get to find out more about why he's such a Star Wars fan. And Christopher messaged us using the hashtag, and I think this is going to be our hashtag going forward. Ask Brick City. I love that hashtag. Nice job, Sean.
Thank you. I mean, it was pretty simple.
It didn't take too much. I agree. I think it's nice, it's simple, and it's going to work great. So hashtag Ask Brick City if you want to ask us a question here on the home show.
Either ask us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can find us.
Wherever you can find us, go and use the hashtag Ask Brick City. So Christopher Ball asked us, I want you to riff on how we will learn or see or whatever the adventure leading to finding Ezra and Thrawn. So I'm assuming based on, is it a little bit of a spoiler for Rebels? Yes. So I'm going to put out a spoiler warning.
Spoiler. I mean, now I can finally answer my my spoiler I was not gonna say.
So whoop, whoop, whoop. Like the Death Star
or
signal.
From SpongeBob.
For the Graveyard Shift episode.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So Christopher wants us to riff off on whatever the adventure leading to finding Ezra and Thrawn will be. This is concerning specifically Ahsoka and Sabine coming out of the Star Wars Rebels finale.
Mm-hmm.
And he's asking, how will it connect to everything now, or when will it timeline-wise? So when do we see this all coming together in the near future within the Star Wars timeline? And to what effect will it create in future entries in the timeline? So if they're able to find Ezra and Thrawn, what does that do to the timeline? Where do Ezra and Thrawn fit into the equation? So part one, Sean, I'll have you answer, is where do we see Ahsoka and Sabine going? Do we see it in a TV format? Do we see it in film going to find Ezra and Thrawn? What do you think?
I mean, I would love to see like a live action adaptation, just because I want to see somehow just need to see Ahsoka in live action form. But Ashley Eckstein, come on, you can do it.
Seriously, take on the role of Ahsoka. That'd be great.
That or just go straight into the comics.
Oh, that's true. Do it through comics.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting because we haven't seen much of any Rebels comics at all. Haven't seen much of Clone Wars. Is it now the time we see like a Ahsoka, more of like just a Ahsoka Sabine comic, like have a Ahsoka and a Sabine, just not just Ahsoka comic, but kind of like what like Archie and Friends is, kind of like that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, like an Archie version of the Star Wars universe with Ahsoka and Sabine. High school years.
No, but Ahsoka's older than that now, so
that's true. She's like graduating.
Oh, in that timeline, which is interesting.
Because
it's interesting question. And I mean, going back from that episode when Ezra was trying to find Ahsoka in the timeline.
Yeah.
Do we see that the same way doing that?
Yeah.
So does Ahsoka bring Sabine in that, and like
the world between worlds? Yeah. And
does she? I mean, I would love to see that in comic form or just animation form again, just that place, and would love to see Ahsoka bring Sabine back and kind of look in the crystal ball to see what happens with Thrawn and Ezra, and like maybe that'll be towards if it's a TV show, maybe towards the end of that season. We see that, and it's like hey, here, finally get. Let's see what the unanswers of Thrawn and Ezra is.
Right. Right. And I think you have to have Dave Filoni, Christopher, to do that. He's the guy who's been leading the Ahsoka and Sabine charge. I think, Sean, I don't know if you agree with me on that, but I think it has to be Filoni to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he's the guy to kind of complete that. And I think, Christopher, one of the most interesting points that you bring up in this, and the one that kind of still revolves around the connection for me, is just this whole idea that Ezra and Thrawn are out there. Sabine and Ahsoka are going out. I like the idea of a live action. I think that format works with the timeline because, again, this is after Return of the Jedi. You have to be careful because if you start playing into the Force Awakens timeline, then you start asking, okay, then where does Ezra, Thrawn, Sabine, and Ahsoka play into the Last Jedi and the Force Awakens? You have to be careful with that timeline unless they show us something in episode 8.
I mean, that's what's really hard with the timeline when, especially just Rebels and Clone Wars itself, especially right. Clone Wars with the Anakin, and I mean, we don't see that off screen. I mean, on screen, of course, in the Revenge of the Sith and all that. I mean, we know Clone Wars takes place during Revenge of the Sith.
Correct. So there is that. I'm not going to say a wonkiness, but there's like an interesting part in the timeline where you do have to be careful where you include some of these characters. And if you're going to do it, then it has to match up with what Rebels gave us, that lead up. It really does. Because if you don't make that connection, I know Thrawn has his own novel. He's doing his own thing with Eli Vanto out there, and Eli's doing everything with the Chiss Ascendancy. I get it. But Sabine and Ahsoka have their own job that they got to accomplish now.
I mean, at least finish the canon before getting into more Thrawn stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay to add Thrawn in that canon because he's, of course, because it's Thrawn and Ezra. Just that's the only thing I should care about for Thrawn right now.
Right.
Anything else, I really don't care right now because we've gotten too much of Thrawn right now.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. So, Christopher, thank you so much for the question, man.
Thank you.
That's absolutely fantastic. Keep using that hashtag #AskBrickCity for all your Star Wars questions or just questions in general here for the home show. Just throw it out to us.
Questions, comments, concerns.
Why did they mention Clemson and Alabama in a podcast about Star Wars and nerdom? You know, stuff like that, I guess. Next one.
That means we block the haters.
That's a really good point.
No, we won't do that.
Next one. Let me just shout out a Hajime Maste to our good friend Mr. Dave Hackerson over there in Japan at Norsk Akiruno. I think I said that the right way. He posed a question both on Facebook and on Twitter to us. And Dave, we love you, buddy. Keep up the awesome stuff that you're doing and all those fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
Star Wars themed articles. I absolutely love it. Big fan of what Dave does. So his question to us, Sean, is, and he says this specifically, you guys can go on Twitter and see it. He says, hard to nail down on a specific question for this, which is okay. I think it's fantastic. I think just keep posing what you're going to do. But I'll pose these. Is Ahsoka a manifestation of one way in Anakin helped to bring balance in the Force? So did Ahsoka truly, in many ways, help Anakin bring balance to the Force because she became a gray Jedi in many ways? So yes, the Jedi were being eradicated, but Anakin went dark. She still survived. She was kind of, in many ways, the true last Jedi in some way. What do you think about that, Sean?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of believe it, especially when watching the final episodes of the Clone Wars. We see that her state of mind trying to calm down Anakin, and Anakin's like, no.
Right. And
it's funny because when I'm watching that scene, it doesn't seem like Anakin's darkness is it's kind of bouncing off Ahsoka a little.
That's a really good point. I like the way you said that too. I've never heard anybody use it that way, but it's perfect. Yes, it does bounce off of her. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't get to her. Yeah,
she's one. I'm gonna compare her kind of to Yoda right now. And
Okay, that's a great comparison.
j- just because I know it's Yoda's one of the not he's not a great Jedi, but he's one of the fewest Jedi who sees the darkness,
Mm-hmm.
and but he doesn't really reflect off of it,
That's a
like what
great.
I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's true.
And
Yeah.
he understands it, but he can easily control to get away from it. I mean,
Mm,
not like how I mean, Rey, I'm gonna kind of associate with Rey
mm-hmm.
when during Last Jedi when she's trying to control the darkness. It doesn't happen. That's really her failing as a Jedi right now. And she, I don't. Of course, I believe she's not going to become this great powerful Jedi. I know she's going to become a great Jedi. I don't think
Right.
she's going to be
Right.
that powerful as like as Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why Ahsoka is one of the fewest Jedi's that's really strong
Yeah.
because I believe she could control the dark and the light. That's why
That's a really
she's
good
a
point.
great Jedi, basically.
Yeah, direct connection right to Qui-Gon Jinn in many ways. Qui-Gon was neither a Jedi nor a Sith, and neither was he a light side user. Qui-Gon was somebody who did not believe in the Jedi's way necessarily, even though he still practiced it. He believed that there was something more to the Jedi than just the lightsabers and everything. He believed in the Force. Ahsoka is that same way.
Yeah.
She carries that same
Of course, she uses
the Jedi weaponry and
Jedi's
yeah.
Jedi way, but
Right.
it's kind of what Barris was saying, and again going to Barris saying
Yeah.
how
No, yeah.
that what was that last line she said that that she Ahsoka can't be as a great Jedi and all that
Until she realizes, yeah,
yeah, and I think that's another reason why Ahsoka is a great Jedi. I think because Ahsoka doesn't. I mean that's the last time she was manipulated by
yeah,
a a Jedi. If we
yeah,
want to kind of, if she's
yeah,
now a Jedi
essentially.
now,
Yep.
that was the last time Ahsoka was manipulated, and then again, not really to Anakin. She kind of understood it, which is kind of weird to understand.
Yeah, to understand where Anakin's heading, and she had that balance of knowing what is good and what is bad, and then finding that middle pathway. And it says it right here. You know, Dave Hackerson was able to translate from what we saw in Clone Wars into what it would have been in Japanese. In her standoff with Vader on Malachor, which obviously happens in Star Wars Rebels, a fantastic scene,
Yeah,
one of my favorites. She tells him, I am no Jedi. And the Japanese subtitles actually say, I no longer walk the Jedi path, which is exactly what you're saying. So the Japanese subtitles give us even more in depth to what she was thinking. And he continues.
that's interesting. How much does Dave Filoni know Japanese? That's my question.
Well, think about
I mean,
connection.
I'm trying to think of the different languages Dave Filoni uses in Clone Wars Rebels. What do you think the closest to Japanese would be?
I think all of them have some kind of connection to, and Dave Hackerson, if you're listening, which I know you love listening in on the Brick City, please let us know because I feel like Dave has some insight on that. I think there are a lot of callbacks to traditional Japanese. I'm talking about like just in-depth Japanese connections in terms of the language that's being spoken to alien species and humanoid species in the galaxy.
Well, especially the concepts of different characters as well.
Yeah,
because I remember one specific character. I don't know if it's true, but Ryo Chuchi.
Oh, good point. Yes,
her character kind of reminded me of that. I don't know how do I want to put it. Without offending anyone.
No. I think what you're trying to put it as is like when you look at the sensei and the learner, it's very similar to the Jedi Master and their Padawan.
Well, yeah, and she was very philosophical.
Oh,
philosophical. Yeah, there you go.
That's the word.
That's the word. Yeah, she was very philosophical with Padme during those very few episodes she was in, and I think That's just my guess. I think that was one of the characters that Dave Filoni kind of wrote off from as the Japanese culture. I'm guessing.
Yeah, Dave, definitely continue the discussion. I know when we post this episode and he listens to it, he's going to make a comment, and please do. I think that maybe Sean,
please make corrections if we're wrong, Dave.
Yeah, and I think we need to have
Dave or anyone.
I think we need to have Dave on an episode of the Home Show and just have him kind of break down this stuff with us. And it's funny, Sean, he even continues to say, I believe this quote indicates she now knows the Force belongs to any sect. It doesn't matter whether you're Jedi, whether you're Sith, what species you are. And he even says this, she's abandoned the hubris of the Jedi and accepts the Force as it is. Building upon this concept, this is a great question, and I'm so glad it's really like our last question to be asking here on the podcast for this episode here. Building upon this question and this concept alone, would Ahsoka, she had been a better mentor for Luke and ultimately Ben Solo in the early days of the New Republic? Would Ahsoka have taught Luke more and would have prevented Ben Solo from turning? Could Ahsoka have done that? I say,
I think most likely. Hey, let's do a little over under.
Okay, let's go for it, Sean. Over under 48%.
I'm going to say over 48. I'm going to say a big fat 75%.
Big fat 75. Why are you saying 75% for Ahsoka being able to mentor Luke and save Ben Solo from going dark? Why do you say that?
It just because we're just watching from The Last Jedi, it's Luke's having such a hard time trying to teach Rey the same, same concept, and I think Ahsoka could do much better. I mean, we kind of saw that in just a little tease in this Ahsoka book of her not really teaching it, but more her mentor ability to these young women in the village that she was in.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I think Ahsoka is a much better teacher and a much better, greater Jedi than Luke.
Yeah.
No, I
100% agree with you, and I call it back to the specific scene from The Last Jedi when we see Rey sitting there and meditating, and
that was my exact image going through my head when I was saying that.
You and I think in the same pathway, man, and it's that whole scene where Luke is like, resist it, Rey, resist it. Ahsoka would have said, no, understand the dark side. Yes, you see the light, but understand the dark so that you know how dark you can become. Yes, go on that journey. Go and see if you can find answers. And when Rey comes back, what does Luke do? He punishes her for trying to build that connection between her and Ben Solo, which forces her to go after Ben. Ahsoka would have said, listen, Rey, you got the answer that you didn't want, okay? Build that connection with Ben Solo, but let him come to you. Let the darkness come to you.
Yeah.
And let it filter itself out, because if you let the darkness come to you, much like with Anakin, if you let it come to you, you end up creating a balance. And that
I was just about to say that too. Yeah, but you stole that from me. But no, you didn't steal that from me.
I think you can add more to that though, because I think you were heading down that path. Do you think that Ahsoka would have allowed Rey, not necessarily to pursue Ben Solo, but could Ahsoka
more understanding? I think.
Okay. What do you mean by that? I'm curious.
I think because. Of course, Rey comes from now there's going to be a new theory of Rey and Ahsoka. No,
there we go. No, throw it out there.
No, what was I going to say? For Rey coming from a nobody, basically coming from a nobody.
That's right.
I'm trying to compare Rey and Ahsoka, and Ahsoka
supposedly came from
nobody too, but. Their path was both paths were so much different.
Yes.
But I think Ahsoka's path was much easier to understand. And if Ahsoka taught Ray that those understanding paths in like what years worth of time or something like that.
At least, yeah.
It would easily help her understand Ben's path
Yep.
of become. I mean, I know it'd be a little late, but it takes time to it takes time to understand these things.
Of course,
and I think that's why Ahsoka has been such a great Jedi over these past years and becoming stronger as she ages. She's understanding it as a easier time. I mean, Ahsoka started at 16 understanding, and then 18. I think as when she was 18 in the Rebels, she was 18 in Rebels, right?
Yeah, correct.
When she was understanding the whole power, we see. I'm saying, I think she's maturing with her understanding of the Jedi. I think more than like what Luke has. Because we remember Luke, what he was mid-20s in A New Hope and all that.
Yeah,
and he did not understand as much, and still he still doesn't understand because I'm not saying Luke's a great Jedi. I think it's just because of Luke's past.
What did Yoda say to him when he was burning the tree? Still looking towards the horizon, right?
Right. And I think during that episode in Clone Wars with Ahsoka and Yoda, understanding when she's trapped in the ice area.
Yes.
That was one of my favorite episodes. Her trying to understand the Force, because what's his understanding of the Jedi.
Yeah,
I don't remember the exact words what he said, but
that was such a great moment. That was such a great moment. So if
you understand what I was trying to say, that whole debauchery of words, the debauchery.
No, that was really. I mean, I agree with you 100%, and I think Luke would have been very different if Ahsoka had come into the equation. I think that, and it's hard to say with Episode 9, man. It's hard to say. Do we see Ahsoka show up? I talked to Caden Stetler about it from Rebel Cause and the Rebel Chatter podcast all the time. Could we see her show up? Do they have plans for her? I say no. I think we're going to see her in some other format. What do you say, Sean?
I agree. I hope it's another format.
Me too. I mean, think she needs her own format.
TV's here.
Yeah.
Maybe after Mandalorian.
Yep. Exactly.
Kind of like we said, maybe doing her and Sabine, and maybe Sabine will become a Jedi. Who knows?
Oh,
because of what Anakin. Cool. I mean, not Anakin. Ahsoka. Sorry.
Does Ahsoka teach her the ways? Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point, because
I mean, we kind of see that in Rebels, like you said, with the Darksaber. Like I just repeated over you.
No, it's true with what Kanan was teaching to Sabine, and she was getting frustrated with. I'm sorry,
she was not ready.
Kicking Ezra's butt a couple times though with that Darksaber.
Well, she wasn't ready. She didn't have a proper teacher.
Correct.
But now
she's got Ahsoka.
That's what I'm thinking.
Wow. What a cliffhanger to leave this episode off on. I love it.
I think we're gonna get something in this upcoming year with Ahsoka and Sabine.
Oh, man, Star Wars Celebration. I hope so, man. I hope they announce something.
You know what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a weekend off. Whatever that is, we're gonna live stream it. Have a party, live stream it, get our reactions.
Oh yeah, it's called Celebration Lancaster. We're gonna be on stage watching it.
Exactly.
Doing a podcast. I think that is going to be the place, and we're gonna have everybody in the room. We're gonna have all these fantastic podcasters in the room on April 13th. Man, it's going to be a fantastic time.
It's like the Super Bowl for us. I'm so excited.
It
literally is.
Yep. And I think we'll do a very special home show episode up from live on the stage too.
Yeah. That'd be tons of fun.
And I think based on this moment right now, Sean, when we're talking about this, if any Ahsoka news comes up during Celebration, I'm going to look right over to you at Tell Us 360. I'm going to be like, let's get our butts up on stage and let's talk about this, because let's remember what happened on episode 29 of the home show when we talked about this. So thank you once again to everybody who sent out questions using the hashtag Ask Brick City. All that fantastic stuff happening in a galaxy far, far away here at the Brick City Blockade Podcast Network. But Sean, we've sadly come to that time of the show.
Oh, blood time! Honk, 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 honk.
Plug time, plug time, plug time, plug time, plug time. Jin!
What's up? I'm SpongeBob. You sound like Patrick for a second doing that quote. I just messed that up. Because I can't think of the quote.
That's all right. I'm sure we could use it on a future episode here. But Sean, it's plug time here at the home show.
The home show.
Sean, where can the good people find you across social media?
You guys can follow me on Twitter, SeanMashow1. Follow my Instagram at ItZoneZ. Friend me and follow me on Facebook, and follow me at Bandcamp.
Bandcamp.
And SoundCloud for my music, even though I haven't updated it. Soon.
Yes, absolutely. You guys can follow me over on Twitter at Mr. Vote Tweets. Check out all my tomfoolery, hat wearing at Joanne Fabrics over there at the official vote. Please make sure to check out www.brickcityblockade.com. All the fantastic announcements, Comic-Cons, Celebration Lancaster, all these fantastic things coming up on the near horizon. Make sure to go over there. Also, TeePublic to rock the network. $14 tees on the way very, very soon. Patreon to support the network. Your money helps go towards doing events, community events, Starlight events. Your money goes directly into helping the Brick City Blockade bring more smiles to kids' faces through our Galaxy of Joy program with Starlight Children's Foundation. Big shout out to them out in Culver City, California. All those wonderful people, all the kids in the hospitals who are receiving their Starlight gowns and their Starlight the Starlight machines that come into the room, and they're able to play Wii and everything.
Yeah,
we love our work with Starlight Children's Foundation. So big shout out to you guys. Continue to donate.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful, wonderful program. And again, I will plug it here for Rebel Cause and from Brick City Celebration Lancaster, coming on April 13th, Saturday, April 13th, from noon to 5 p.m. at Tellus 360.
Mark those calendars.
East King Street in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Mark those calendars. It's going to be great. Sean and I are going to be up on stage with all the rest of these great podcasters talking about what's happening at Star Wars Celebration. We're going to have Chris Letty. We're going to have Quinn, Sammy Martin, of course, live at Celebration doing check-ins from Chicago for us. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time.
And we got the voice James Brown as well, of course.
That's right. The voice, Mr. James Brown himself, is going to be there. But until next time, folks, for Sean Me Show, this is Robin Vote from The Home Show.
The Home Show.
And as we always say,
thanks, darling. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
Darling.
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 Always.
Always, forever. Freddie.
Forever. Forever, forever, ever,
Patrick. Patrick, that is enough. Chip, show Patrick the door. Thank you, Chip.
Benny has such a beautiful voice.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
All I can think about is that episode of Arthur on PBS. Bye-bye now.
Wait, what?
There's an episode of Arthur when they go to the museum. Do you remember that?
No, I haven't watched Arthur in forever. That's so random. But go on.
There's an episode of Arthur where they go to a museum and Arthur can't get the idea of dinosaurs out of his head. And he looks over at the tour guide and it's a T-Rex's head. And she goes, bye-bye now. It's
oh my God.
Random. It's like my freaking childhood just showing up there for a second.
Oh, that's so Hilarious.
Oh my god, it's like I'm Caillou.
Oh my god. I'm Caillou. Caillou.
Then he's like throwing a fit in the bathtub. I still do that, right?
In the bathtub. Shaving in the bathtub.
Do
You know that song?
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. I have my Cassian and Jen dolls like in the bathtub.
Shaving in the bathtub.
Shaving in the bathtub. This thing is still live right now. Leave it all.
That's hilarious.